Okay, that's the entrance to Machu Picchu. This is in like a Disneyland. There's the steep road up. And there is where the buses begin, or the trains are, excuse me. And the buses are down there somewhere also that come up here. I'll just pan for the fun of it. It's raining, so I've got to play that game too. I have this afternoon and tomorrow. This is the first real view you get of Machu Picchu when you leave the visitor center. Okay, since it's raining, I'll shoot what I can now, since I'm not sure how much I'll get later on. There is a bit of a clearing down there. I'm going up to the Inka Bridge, mainly because I kept following the signs that said long, 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 and so I figured may as well get it out of the way. Seems so compact, and for the first time, other than including in the pictures and the maps that I've had, I see that it's very much perched on the top of a steep knoll. There's something kind of enhancing and entrancing about shooting this with the fog. It's the Inka Bridge crossing this chasm. A bit of break in the clouds so we can see something. This spot is where the rock wall has given way recently. I think in many instances we're also walking on Inka bridges. They're just not visible. It's the Inka Bridge crossing this chasm. A bit of break in the clouds so we can see something. This spot is where the rock wall has given way recently. I think in many instances we're also walking on Inka bridges. They're just not visible. There's something kind of enhancing and entrancing about shooting this with the fog. I'm not sure what this long area is. Obviously that's a wall for climbing up to this next terrace, but whether these were granaries or other structures, I don't know. There's a simulation of or a restored granary. Up there to that notch on that trail is where I'm going. Marvel again at these huge stones. Now these don't fit like they did before, probably at the other sites, probably because this is in a much rainier and lower elevation. And I think all kinds of forces like water and plants break down these rocks quicker. This is the Inka Road up there. There's a llama relaxing in an old building enclosure. How are you? Notice this carved walkway through the stone, and here was some kind of a building of some sort, and there stairs carved in. Probably some kind of temple with that dramatic chunk of rock as a backdrop. And notice that it has somewhat the configuration of the stone at Machu Picchu, or the peak at Machu Picchu. In case we don't see these peaks again. Here again on this big slab of what looks like natural rock, you can see where it's been worked, worn down by the erosion, weathering. Can't see anything there, but it may be hidden. Stairs leading either to some kind of temple. They make enough money here that they're not probably concerned about restoring it. Here are two very narrow ways. Don't know what they are, we'll see. And I can hear water rushing intermittently. Oh, I see. Brings us out into what probably was some kind of room. Same with that. Behind there, there's some kind of, sounds like water alternately flushes and stops and flushes. This may have been a granary for all I know, but this is very small. It's just wide enough for me to walk through without turning sideways. Actually, I have to turn a little bit sideways. Here, this one opens into a larger room, which then has another small little gate area, if you will, our entranceway into that room. Probably up above me here are all kinds of buildings, or at least a few. These stairs led somewhere. And again, these posts, like the ones I saw a little bit earlier, whether this was a granary or not, I don't know. No clue what this was for, but the large pillar is kind of unique. There are the niches again, but notice they're not really those trapezoidal niches. Well, maybe just barely, but it's not pronounced. Although I think this one is more pronounced, but they're still quite narrow. This is very interesting. You can see how this entire natural outcropping has been worked. Whether they were seats, whether it's a throne, it may well be that this was a seat here, or that all of this was for placing various offerings and totems, and maybe in deference to three very, very important people whose remains may have been in those niches. But if you look at the natural apparent topography of this rock, that's a phenomenal amount of work with just pecking stones and sand. Now here we see indentations, which we know are for holding stones, probably just exactly like those right there, who, if we were to remove those, would find such indentations. And we can see other indentations there, either for a wall or for holding totems or offerings. I don't know if the camera can poke back inside there, or if you can see, but there is another wall. Whether it was for building or terracing, I don't know. As I'm sure you probably guessed, this walkway is really two walls. The one to our left that supports this terrace, and then the one to our right which protects it. For some reason, the stairway from here on is totally deteriorating, probably because the Latinos do not wish to spend any money fixing it, on the assumption you've already got this far, you're not turning back. Notice that Machu Picchu's terracing goes all the way down to several hundred feet above the river over there. Okay, I'm entering the door of the Sun temple from the back, and you'll see what I mean in a moment. This was probably a room. You can see there was a niche. It almost looks like this wall was added at some point in time. But anyway, this is the doorway of the Sun. And down there in those clouds, you can just make out that large pointy tooth peak there. That's where Machu Picchu is. More terraces. Whether these were used for flowers like Intipunku'SD, I don't know, but certainly steep hummers to work, that's for sure. Spent some time talking to this lovely girl from Peru who lives in Barcelona, Spain, where she has a clothing shop, and we talked about politics and so forth. Airway leads apparently to either Cusco or Cusco. I've not heard of Cusco, but I couldn't be sure what she said. Notice the small niche there, don't know what its purpose would be. Notice the terraces go all the way up. Whether up those stairs there were additional buildings, don't know. Just for a couple of seconds here, there may be enough of a break to see most of Machu Picchu. Sun is trying to break out. But how can you put a price on the value of having this site all to myself? I had to climb up here because I could see this cave-like structure, and it is a cave, but the roof has fallen in. But I'll bet it had some significance for the Incas. Now the Mestica and perhaps the Teotihuacan people prize the green stone. I don't know if this is it or not. This wall with these huge rocks creates somewhat of an enclosure with that right angle. It makes you wonder there was a building here. Okay, here you can see an offering rock. The little niches on the side, plus the huge platform. Now, whether that was used for something else or not, I don't know. Obviously, this is a reconstruction, but hopefully they made some attempt to reflect what was the ancient design.
Sally went to Machu Picchu and got run over by a llama.
Oh no, it was yesterday. Oh, and then they came. And on the first day, we went to
the grotto.
We walked in the grotto. So something.
Just like that.
Something here. Look. There's a protuberance here. Pierced.
Got a hole through it, so it might hold a post with a flag banner.
Notice that that appears to have the arms of a chair, like the kind of thing you can buy for your bed.
Look at the site. Make it different for the
On the mountain too?
So have you been